Dear students, welcome back to my class. So today we are starting with the another topic of this module 1, the difference between non-codata and codata. Let's move. What is the difference between codates and non-codates? In the previous class we have discussed about the unique features of codates. What are they? The presence of notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord and pharyngeal gill slits, right? So we can take these three characters as the prime differentiation character between codates and non-codate. Okay, so let's move to the detail of each character. The first one is notochord. Okay, so notochord is present in codates only, and they are present either throughout the life of an organism or the life of all codates, or in some organism or in some codates it is present or it is restricted only in certain stages. Okay, for example, in the case of cephalocodates and urocodates, in the case of urocodates, this notochord is present only in the larval stage, while the case of cephalocodates and other codates, it is present. In the case of cephalocodate only, it is present through the entire length of the life cycle of that organism. Okay, while the case of non-codate, they are altogether absent. Then second feature is nerve cord. The nerve cord is dorsal, tubular, unpaired and non-ganglionated in the case of codates, while the case of non-codate, the nerve cord is actually absent, but if it is present, it is positioned on the ventral side, and the nature is it is solid, paired and ganglionated, and it is located just below the alimentary canal. Okay, so this is the this character is in quite opposite condition, right? In the case of codate, the nerve cord is dorsal in position, and it is positioned where? It is positioned just above the just above the notochord. And here in the case of non-codate, if nerve cord is present, it is positioned on the ventral side and it is solid, and this is paired and ganglionated and located just below the alimentary canal. Then the third feature is pharyngeal gill slits. They are present in codates and prominent in codates, while in the case of non-codate, they are altogether absent. Then comes the heart. We know that in most of the advanced codate, the heart is positioned on the ventral side, ventral region of the body, just close to the alimentary canal, right? For example, human beings, you can see that heart is positioned on the ventral side, while in the case of non-codates, it is positioned on the dorsal side. The heart is positioned on the dorsal side to alimentary canal. For example, prawn. In prawn, where it is located, it is generally located the head region. Okay, on the dorsal region of the head region. Then circulatory system. We know that all codates are having a closed type of circulatory system, indicating the closed blood vessels like arteries and veins along with the true heart. While in the case of non-codate, it is present in both open and a closed state, right? In the case of echinoderms, you can see that it is what? It is somewhat, yes, closed. While in the case of arthropods, you can see that the circulatory system is open. Open in the sense that the blood flows through open spaces, that is called the sinuses and lacunae. Then comes the direction of the blood in this circulatory system. In the case of codate, the blood is moving forward on the ventral region, while it is moving backward in the dorsal side. So in the quite dorsal as well as in the ventral side, the direction of flow is in an opposite direction. Okay, here also in non-codate, the blood flow is in opposite condition, but in the dorsal side it is moving forward, unlike in codate where it is the forward flow is on the ventral side, and in the ventral side it is flowing in the backward direction. Okay, then comes respiratory pigment. Which is respiratory pigment in chordates? Yes, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is located where? Inside or above the RBC. Okay, while the case of non-chordate, most of them are having colorless blood, but some are possessing blue colored pigment or dark red colored pigment. Okay, so here the hemoglobin is generally absent, but if it is present, it gets dissolved in blood plasma because they do not have RBC. Okay, then the other character is called the postanal tail. The postanal tail is present in chordate. For example, birds, reptiles, mammals, etc. they possess a tail. Anal tail is present. Here in the case of non-chordates, this postanal tail is altogether absent. Then comes lateral appendages or limbs. They are present and they are always seen in two pairs. Okay, two pairs of lateral appendages like limbs and arms are present in chordates, while the case of they are absent actually non-chordate, but if it is present it will be more than two pairs. Okay, so these are the main difference between chordates and non-chordates. I hope you understood. Then comes the classification of phylum Chordata. So in this here we are studying the different organisms and the different classes, subclasses, subphylums and the concerned examples of chordates. Okay, so we should know in which manner they are categorized. Okay, so let's see the classification of phylum Chordata. The phylum Chordata has been divided into two main subgroups. They are Acraniata or Protochordata and Craniata or Vertebrata. Okay, Acraniata, what is meant by cranium? Cranium is a brain box. So Acraniata as the name indicates that it doesn't have any brain box or a cranium, and they have notochord. As they are being chordates, they are having notochord, but the persistence of notochord will be different in this category. Okay, so I will explain it with the detail. Actually, this Protochordata has been divided into two subphylum, that is Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Okay, Urochordata means due to the persistence of this notochord, they are categorized under these two categories. Okay, in the case of Cephalochordata, the notochord is persisted throughout their lifetime. Okay, for example, Amphioxus. While in the case of Urochordata, what is meant by Uro? Uro means state. In the case of Urochordata, this particular structure will be restricted only at the larval stage. Okay, and when it becomes adult, this notochord is getting regressed. Okay, so the persistence will be different in different organisms. In this category it is persisted throughout their life, and in this category it is persisted only in the larval stage. Okay, and when they attains maturity, this notochord is not getting replaced by vertebral column. So that is why they are called protochordates. Okay, here in advanced organisms this notochord is getting replaced by vertebral column. Here this remains as such or restricted only at a particular stage throughout the life history. Okay, so that is the main two characteristic features of the Acraniata or Protochordata. Okay, so this has been divided into two subphylums, Cephalochordata and Urochordata. Among this, Cephalochordata consisting of around 30 species, while Urochordata consisting around 3000 species. Okay, then comes the Craniata. Craniata or vertebrata, it's also called vertebrata. Around 57,674 species are existing in this category, and as they are craniata, they are having what? A brain box. Here the notochord is persist only in the embryonic stage. While they attains adult or attains maturity, what happens is that this notochord is getting replaced by vertebral column. Okay, so this is called a vertebrata or a craniata. They have been divided. This particular subgroup has been divided into two subphylum, that is subphylum Agnatha and Gnathostomata. This differentiation is mainly due to the presence or absence of jaw. Okay, Agnatha means they are jawless vertebrates, and Gnathostomata means they are jawed. They possess jaws, jawed vertebrates. And this Agnatha or jawless vertebrates are again classified into two different classes, that is Ostracodermi and Cyclostomata. Okay, and this Gnathostomata or the jawed vertebrates are classified into two different superclasses. They are Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces includes the fishes, and the Tetrapoda includes the four-limbed organisms. Okay, and this superclass Pisces is again divided into three different classes. They are Placodermi, Chondrichthyes and Ostichthyes. Okay, this Placodermi includes the armed fishes, and this Chondrichthyes includes the cartilaginous fishes like a shark, and this Ostichthyes includes most of the bony fishes like a sardine, cuttlefish, then anabas, etc. Okay, all the fishes that we are commonly aware are coming under this Ostichthyes category. Then Tetrapoda. Tetra means four, poda means limbs. Four-limbed organisms are coming under this particular superclass Tetrapoda, and they are classified into four classes. They are Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. I hope you understood, you know what is the concerned examples coming under each class, right? In Amphibia, frogs and toads, reptiles, which lizards, snakes, toads, etc. Then aves, crocodiles, etc. And then aves, that is birds mainly, and then mammals, most of the advanced mammals. Okay, so these are the classification of phylum Chordata. I hope you understood, and if you have any doubt, please do in the comment section. Thank you.